It was bedlam. Covering Ichiro's final game is an experience I will never forget. It, of course, took place in March of 2019 at the Tokyo Dome. But let's go ahead and take it back to 2018 because that's actually the beginning of the story of the end of Ichiro's playing career. Ichiro, of course, came back and joined the Mariners one more time. He made the team out of spring training in 2018, but in the middle of May, a press release came out that said that Ichiro would be transitioning to a new role. It would be a front office role with a unique twist that he would still put on the uniform and still work out with the team. His days were not changing at all. The only thing that was changing was he would not participate in the games. He would come to the park at the same time, go through the same routines, take batting practice, and then when the game started, he would go home. An interesting situation to say the least, but I think we all saw where it was going. Now, it was made clear at the time of the decision, this was it for 2018. He would not be returning to play, but the door was not closed on him playing at the big league level again. In fact, with the Mariners scheduled to play the Japan series the following year, I think people could see what was about to happen. Ichiro was aiming to play in that series in 2019. We move forward to 2019, spring training. Ichiro makes the team out of camp and is added to the 28-man roster for the Japan series. It was the second time I traveled to Japan with the Mariners and Ichiro. We did it back in 2012, and it was an absolute spectacle back then. Ichiro, of course, the biggest star in Japan at the time. I was kind of curious to see if that had cooled down at all. Well, when we landed at Haneda Airport, it became evident very quickly, no, it had not. It was a fun experience getting off the airplane. It was basically a big red carpet. From the minute the Mariners got off the plane, there were photographers everywhere, there were fans in the airport, there was screaming, there was cheering, there were flash bulbs. It was something out of the movies. It was a great scene. Now, this was a different team in 2019. This is not the players that Ichiro played with when he was on the team for the first time. A lot of them were young. The Mariners were getting ready to do basically a rebuild. And so I think their eyes were really open to who Ichiro was as we drove through Tokyo. There were billboards. There were larger-than-life-size murals on the sides of buildings. There was advertising on the Tokyo Dome. Ichiro was absolutely everywhere. He was still a superstar, still an icon in Japan. Going into those games, I think there was so much anticipation for Ichiro. You knew this was going to be it, even though he had yet to formally announce that he would be retiring. They, of course, were sold out, and fans lined the entire stadium, cheering every move Ichiro made pregame. Game 1, Ichiro was in the starting lineup, and every time he came to the plate or ran out to right field, you could see every phone in the building trained on him. It was nothing but iPhone lights all the way around the stadium. The cheering, it never stopped. It was so loud. It was absolutely incredible to hear people just screaming for Ichiro, and you got the feeling that everybody in the building was just willing him to get one final hit. It did not happen in Game 1. Game 2, of course, he is in the starting lineup. It had yet to be announced that he was retiring after the game, but on the way into the Tokyo Dome, word started to get out that indeed this would be it. The frenzy that day was exponentially higher. The fans, there was a crush to get into the building. There was a crush to get to the best spots during batting practice. There was chanting before he took the field. There were wild cheers the moment he did. When it came to the game, when he was announced, more cheering. When he stepped up to the plate, the games had to be halted for a little bit as the fans just would not relent. Every time he came to the plate, again, you felt like everybody was trying to will him to one more hit. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Ichiro ran out to his spot in right field, and Scott Service stepped on the field and indicated that he would be taking him out. Everybody in the building arose to their feet, and again the cheering began. Ichiro's teammates left the field, leaving Ichiro the only player on the field in the middle of the Tokyo Dome. The roar continued. Ichiro acknowledged all sides of the building and eventually made it back to the third base dugout. And when he got there, He was greeted by each and every team and staff member individually with a hug and a few words. After a while, Ichiro made it into the dugout where Ken Griffey Jr. was waiting for him, and there was a trademark Ken Griffey Jr. hug awaiting him there as well. The game ended up going 12 innings, and Ichiro was on the field at the end. That's where things got interesting. For us as reporters, it was our job to go down and get the manager, get the interviews, and hopefully eventually get Ichiro as well. So as we're heading downstairs, the team is still on the field, and Ichiro is making another pass through the crowd and waving to everybody. I don't know if he made a full circle around the building. He may have, but he stayed out for a while, as did the team. While we were talking with Scott Service, the team came back in and Ichiro came back, and there was just so much curiosity. The players didn't quite know what to do with themselves. They were all watching Ichiro in awe, and some were like, do we go congratulate him again? What do we do here? As we were taking in the scene, Bob Melvin, who was manager of the A's, walked into the room, and this was very significant for Ichiro. Bob Melvin was Ichiro's second manager in the big leagues, and they had a great relationship. So they shared a moment together, and then Ichiro came over and talked to us for a few minutes. After he talked to us, we turned to other teammates, got more interviews, and at some point, I would say a few minutes after we were just starting to wrap things up, Tim Hevely, who was the director of media relations, came up to us and said, "Follow me." So about 6, 7 of us start following Tim through the workout area, and as we're getting closer to the clubhouse, Tim turns around and goes, "Run." At this point, we're not questioning anything. So we start running. We are running through the clubhouse, and the next thing you know, I am following at a full sprint, Tim Hevely, running through a training room, which is an area we're not allowed in, through a food room, and the next thing you know, up some stairs, which happen to be the steps to the dugout. As we pop out of the dugout, it was bedlam. Nobody had left. They were screaming Ichiro's name, chanting Ichiro's name. The roar of the crowd was probably louder than anything we heard during the game. As we step out on the field, there is a massive crush of cameras. I think probably every news organization in Japan, every print organization, every photographer imaginable was on this field at that time. It was a crush of photographers. So I kind of start running into that group a little bit, and I realized that Ichiro is in the middle of it. That's what they were filming. They were filming Ichiro had come back out on the field. And Ichiro made his way through the photographers, broke free, and the next thing you know, he is running across the field to the pitcher's mound. And again, he acknowledged the fans. This is the video you're about to see. It is, in my opinion, one of the most iconic moments in baseball, his final farewell in Japan.
Get back.